He turned 40 yesterday. William and Kate and King Charles celebrated the milestone birthday with social media posts. Some are calling these gestures as an olive branch. So, is it time to welcome Prince Harry and Meghan back home and heal the reported family rift? Give us a call on 0207 862 2222. I'll speak to you in just a moment. What do you two make of this story? Carole, let's start with you.
Okay.
No.
Go on. Everything seems to be upsetting you.
No, I know this doesn't upset me.
Okay, good.
I think it's, I think the family had no choice but to acknowledge it was Harry's birthday. The family tradition always has acknowledged landmark birthdays. Do I think it's a meaningful peace offering? For reconciliation? No, I don't. Not for a nanosecond. Charles barely speaks to his son these days, and he barely does that because every time he does, details of that conversation get leaked into the media in America, and of course they come over here. So he very rarely speaks to him. I think Charles, of all the family, is open to reconciliation, but I certainly don't think William is. And yes, I know he put this out today, but I think he had to. He had to look like he was singing from the same song sheet as Buckingham Palace by putting out this photograph. I think it's quite funny that they cut Meghan out of it, but anyway, because she was on that photograph originally.
That was a mistake, I think.
I'm not sure it was a mistake, actually.
No, it was an error. They shouldn't have done that.
No, they should not have done that, but they did. But I don't think they're anywhere closer to reconciliation now than they were this time last year.
I would hope that's wrong, and I hope that this is the beginnings of a peace process and olive branch, and the King's not getting any younger. He's not in great health. We hope he is recovering. And, the Princess of Wales is also recovering from a cancer. And when people get older, he's 40 years old, Harry, his wife's, 42, 43, they start thinking about things differently. You get more perspective. You've got 5 cousins who don't know each other.
But that's not the royal family's fault. That's Harry's fault.
No, you're putting it all on Harry. Remember, all of this media.
Sorry,
Carole, if I can land, please, for a second. Look, we don't know what the precise ins and outs. Clearly, Harry has been leaking, but the other side has leaked as well, industrially. We know this from correspondence.
I don't know how you can say this with
they
a straight face, Henry.
The Buckingham Palace has a massive media machine. Clarence House has a massive media machine. They don't need to.
They could have said so much about Harry and Meghan.
They've got a royal press pack which does their bidding.
They could have said so many damaging things about Meghan and Harry.
They have.
They have not. You don't know that. You don't know what the leaking machine is. You've got no idea.
Well, do you have any better idea than me?
No, but you're assuming.
Do you have any better idea than me?
You're assuming the royal family.
But you've been assuming too, and you've gone to war against them.
Did the royal family sit down with Oprah Winfrey and call Harry and Meghan racist? No, they didn't.
No. Harry and Meghan didn't call anybody racist.
I'm afraid that's exactly what
they implied that something was asked with possibly malign intent. That's what they said.
Are you really of this belief that just because they're family, it should all be made together? Because, families can do terrible things.
Of course they can.
And it doesn't mean just because they are blood related that all rifts should be healed. Because sometimes, you're saying Kate has cancer. This is the same Kate that Harry trashed and betrayed. A girl who was like
trashed and betrayed? How? What are you talking about?
In the book, what are you talking about? She trashed her in the book,
I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the fact that Merva is waiting to speak to us from Sheffield. Merva, welcome to the show. Do you think it's time?
Hello.
Good morning. Do you think it's time that the royal family sort of put this rift together? Do you see this as a bit of an olive branch, this social media post?
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to see them reconciliate?
If it's going to happen, but I think there's agenda to it. Harry and Meghan are fine. Mm-hmm. They're happy. They've got their children. They're living. The British media and the royal family don't like that, especially somebody like Miss Malone there.
How do you know they're happy? How do you know they're happy?
How do you know they're not?
How do you know they are? You just said they are.
And how do you know they're not?
I didn't say they weren't. You said they were.
Hang on, let Merva make her point.
I'd like to. That's it. Tell her to be quiet for once.
Fine.
The royal family. It's never mind Harry and Meghan trashing the royal family. Look what the royal family's done to Harry and Meghan. But you don't say anything.
What have they done?
Right. Now, my darling.
What have they done?
King, listen to me.
Let her make her point then, Carole. You can speak up.
Carole, be quiet.
Okay, Merva, hang on, both of you. I'm in charge of this conversation.
I'm not going to be told to be quiet.
Okay, all right.
Just not.
Anyway,
all right. If you just let Merva make her point, and Carole, I promise you can come back and make your point. Merva.
Thank you. Right. The royal family especially Prince William, we've all found out it's him who's doing all the leaks. This is an agenda because they've had such bad backlash on that stupid little video thing they did last week or the week before. So they're trying to make themselves look better.
All right, Merva.
We're not stupid.
Thank you.
Can I
Thank
ask
you.
Merva a question?
Thank you. Merva, we've heard from you. You've made a lot of points. I think it's fair to let Carole.
Let me ask
come
Merva
back.
the question. Where's your proof that Wills has been doing all this leaking? Where is it? What do you know?
Oh, darling, we know.
Darling,
We're not
we know.
stupid now.
Oh, I see. OK, so you don't know, in fact.
Stupid.
So I just asked you, what's
We're
your
not
proof?
stupid.
Where's your proof?
Carole, go back on GB News.
Where's
like
your
the rest
proof?
of you.
All right. Okay. I don't think we're getting anywhere
Just
there.
insulting. She's got no proof.
Merva, thank you for your call. I mean, is this part of the problem with the conversations about the royal family, that very little proof exists because many people who actually do know what's going on actually don't speak openly? The information we have is third-hand at best.
And it's all confirmation bias. People have their own
Well, I don't
agendas.
know. I have no
and
opinions either way. But is that the problem,
You say
Carole,
there's
that we
very-
don't
hang
quite
on.
know?
You say there's very little proof. Harry has done numerous interviews where
Mm-hmm.
he has criticised his family. He did an interview with Oprah Winfrey where he criticised his family. He wrote a book called Spare, for which he got paid £18 million, in which he criticised
What's
his
that? Why is that
family.
important?
That's not... Because you just said there's no proof. There is the proof of what Harry's done.
But he's been talking, as far as I understand, and I put my hand up as someone who doesn't follow this super
do.
closely. I know you do. That's why I'm asking for your opinion. But he has put forward his views that he has been badly treated by the family.
And have you ever heard William say that? Have you ever heard the King say that? Have you ever heard
I've heard
Camilla
him
that
say
they've been
what?
treated badly by him?
By
Have you
him.
heard them speak out like Harry has spoken out? Never. They've never done it.
But they don't need to, because they have people willing to do their bidding in the press. That's
What do you
why.
think Harry does? Harry's briefing all the time from America. Every conversation. So when he has a private conversation with his father, how do you think that gets out into the press?
Well, it's either him or people on his father's side.
All right.
You don't know which one.
It really is.
Let's hear from Caroline in Nottinghamshire. Caroline, welcome to the show. What would you like to say?
I'd like to say you should get rid of all the royal family. I don't think it's worth them being here, to be honest.
But what will we talk about, Caroline, if they're gone?
It's a point.
Get rid of them.
What?
Because we don't need them.
Well, you say you don't need them. I mean, look, we've had this debate on this show, on Jeremy's show, on plenty of shows, whether we need or don't need the royal family. And that's perhaps a chat for another day. But wouldn't you like to see this rift sort of be healed and then we can all stop talking about it?
Well, yeah, get rid of the rift and then get rid of them all.
Right, OK, bring them back together and then get rid of them. Caroline, I see where you're going with that. We're not going to persuade you otherwise. Margaret has got in touch from Northamptonshire. Margaret, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. What would you like to say?
Well, I would like to say that, yes, I do believe that they should reunite, in happiness, really. But what really annoys me, and it goes on like all the time, is that whatever channel you watch, they drag Meghan and Harry into it. Meghan and Harry does not ask to be spoke about, for a start. And also...
some people, Margaret, would argue that they sometimes will bring that attention to themselves. I mean, I don't know what they could do to take that attention away, but what do you say to those critics?
But it still doesn't have to be spoke about.
Right.
Really, it doesn't. And at the end of the day, rifts happens in every family, or most families anyway. But unless you know the root cause of it, you can cut the head of a weed every week and it will still grow back unless you deal with the root cause of it. And I don't think that nobody knows the root cause why Harry did what he did, really. And I don't think that unless the whole family, royal family, talks together and everybody hears everybody's point of view calmly and collectively and, move on from there.
Margaret, thank you. Carole, would you like to see that rift sort of go? I mean,
It's not a question of that.
well, no, that's the question I'm asking.
No. I mean, I don't have an opinion on that. What I have an opinion on is that I don't think it's ever in a million years going to happen, because I don't think the family will trust Harry anymore.
Okay, but
I think he's been out of the loop for so long, and he's used to freedom. He's used to doing and saying what he wants. I don't think that if he came back here, which we know he wants to do now, to do a little bit of work here and there, which the Queen said was never going to happen. I think when you have caused this much damage within your family, I think it's never going to be the same ever again. That's what I think.
Let's hear from Sheena in East Sussex. Sheena, welcome to the show. What would you like to say?
I'd just like to say that the British media just are too involved in the royal family, and it's just a never-ending cycle of stories after stories after stories. We don't actually know what's factual. We don't know,
Carole, you disagree with that?
Well, of course I disagree with that. I mean, the idea that the British media are making stuff up is farcical. It just doesn't happen. And if you think that Harry and Meghan don't want to be in the papers, why do they keep on talking to the media and to media outlets?
But isn't William and Kate's comms team doing the same? Constantly doing the same. This battle needs to stop.
Well, I mean, I think, Sheena, you're right in the sense that we saw that video last week, which I thought was a little bit schmaltzy and a bit off. I don't like to see that kind of manipulation of people and things. You're right about that, but we didn't choose to put that in. The media didn't make that up. They chose to put that in the media, and I don't agree with it.
From the British media is insane. And I've got to say, Carole, that also in the past, you've written horrible stories about Diana, horrible stories about William and Kate before Meghan came on the scene.
When you say horrible...
It's what you've done. You've written horrible articles after articles about the royal family.
Because I am a columnist. I'm employed for an opinion, and that's what I do. I give my opinion, whether you...
And you're doing the same now.
So you think it's horrible?
I mean, you're doing it to Diana.
What was I doing to Diana?
And then after Diana, you wrote horrible articles about her.
Yeah.
And then after Diana, you wrote horrible stories about William and Kate.
Yeah.
And now you've stopped on William and Kate, and now you're on Harry and Meghan.
Yeah, that's just what I do. I'm just a cruel, awful person.
Sheena, thank you. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinions, whether we like them or not, but at least we can discuss them perhaps in a calm and respectful manner.
I mean, we are never in the room when these things are happening, these fights between William and Harry or, Kate and Meghan. And so the people who are feed the information, feed the story they want to get out to their comms team or to their favourite sources in the media, and then they put it out, often without challenge, for the British people to either accept or to resist. And there are lots of people here who are seeing through that, and that's why we're getting this conversation.
Are you comparing what the comms team at Buckingham Palace put compared to what Meghan and Harry put out? Are you actually comparing them and saying
it's done in different ways, and maybe different language is used. Like, recollections may differ.
Done in total.
Recollections may differ, but it means the same thing. They're lying.
Let me pause you there because we're running out of time, and I want to hear from Margaret, who's been waiting to speak to us from Buckinghamshire. Margaret, welcome to the show. What would you like to say, Margaret?
Well, first and foremost, I'd very much agree with Carole, 100%. I am a royalist.
The only one who does today, Margaret.
No, everybody's agreed with you pretty much.
Go on, let Margaret make her point.
I cannot believe for the life of me Harry really wants to come back. You read all sorts of articles. We see, we hear, we listen. We draw our own conclusions on things. But I cannot believe he would want to come back. I think he would like to see a better relationship with his family. But that isn't going to happen. You can't trust him. And in any family, when trust has gone, everything has gone. You couldn't believe that he would come back and not go back to America and start saying things.
OK, Margaret, last question before we put this to bed. I asked Carole earlier, but would you like to see the royal family heal that rift?
No, because I don't think it's just Harry and Meghan. I think they've got to go to America, stay there, and let him do the good work that he's doing, and let him just speak to his family like he's done over the birthday period, and I think that's fine. But I don't honestly think poor Charles, who's done so much, and the Queen, who did so much, really could welcome Meghan back. I think she knows what she wants, Meghan, and I don't think it's part of the royal family. It might be the Spencers, who knows?
All right, Margaret, I'm going to have to leave it there, I'll just because of time. But thank you for calling. Thank you for all your calls.